Introverts produce more saliva in response to lemon juice. Maybe I should elaborate on that. The psychologist Hans Eisnick claimed that there were physiological indicators of personality type, one of which is that introverts tended to have higher baseline cortical arousal. In other words, they react more intensely to stimulation, in this case, citric acid. I'll put a step-by-step guide in the description of this video for how you can try the lemon juice test on yourself. Regardless of how scientifically suspect this experiment is, it does highlight the fact that introverts require less stimulation. This won't be at all surprising to introverts, but instead of it being a term that describes a set of behaviors, introvert describes someone who simply desires and requires lower levels of stimulation in general. Typically, this refers to social stimulation, but as I just mentioned with taste, it can also refer to sensory stimuli, such as noise or even light. Whereas an extrovert is more likely to feel energized by increased social and sensory input, getting more excited, engaged, and present. As a result, for introverts, it's the exact opposite. In those moments, they get pulled away from being present, instead feeling distracted, losing the ability to focus, and generally being a ship lost at sea. When introverts can retreat to a quiet environment, or one where they can regulate the external stimuli they're experiencing, they do much better. You can think of it as being a kind of hypersensitivity to stimulation, but that does also mean that when it comes to individual sensory experiences, introverts can really embrace those. They can focus in on them and eke out the pleasure. It's just that they don't want to be bombarded by them. Introverts make better leaders in some situations, and might be better at leading extroverts. Extroverts tend to be better at leading teams that require a bit of an energetic push, some motivation or inspiration. On the other hand, introverts make better leaders when they have proactive and self-motivated people on their teams. Traits that, in some ways, describe extroverts. Introverts will delegate important tasks to them when needed, share the credit for any achievements, and be more open to listening to potential concerns and new inputs. Extroverts can be catalysts, whereas introverts can step back and let other people shine. Introverts are more socially savvy, in theory. Most introverts are skilled analyzers of people and people watchers, silently observing the humans as they interact, often catching important details and cues that are missed by people caught up in the moment. But as a wise man once said, there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. When it comes to walking the walk, introverts don't do as well. Being a participant can sometimes rob you of the benefits that being an observer affords you. Having that real-time back and forth, as opposed to a text conversation, for example, can sometimes be a bit too fast-paced for introverts to get a handle on and feel like they are contributing in a worthwhile way. I think that's one of the reasons why some introverts may have a preference for the written word as a primary means of communication. You can take your time, you can ponder, you can edit. I think that most introverts walking away from even a casual conversation might be a little bit harsh on themselves or kick themselves for saying something they deem to be stupid or not articulated to the highest standards. Introverts don't talk less. It seems that they're actually just interested in talking about different kinds of things, i.e. not small talk or gossip. For extroverts, the simple act of conversing is enjoyable in and of itself, whereas for introverts, the content of the conversation takes precedence over the process of it. Obviously, no one enjoys boring conversations, but for introverts, there really is no redeeming quality to them. There might be 4 kinds of introverts: social, thinking, anxious, and restrained. I will link to a test in the description and you can find out which one you are. Let me know in the comments below whether there are any other topics you'd like to see in relation to introverts. Also, please like, subscribe, check out these social media links in the description, including our website, Patreon, and Discord server. Also, feel free to share this video, either with someone who's an introvert and doesn't really know it, or with your extroverted family and friends that don't understand you.